Good day everyone, I am Abayan and today I'm going to talk about different types of art expressions. Module 2 and 3. Here are the objectives. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to differentiate art from nature, characterize artistic expression based on personal experiences with art, discuss the nature of art's preliminary expression, and categorize works of art by citing personal experiences. It takes an artist to make an art. One may perceive beauty on a daily basis. However, not every beautiful thing that can be seen or experienced may truly be called a work of art. Art is a product of man's creativity, imagination, and expression. So, ang ibig sabihin lang ito ay ang hindi lahat na nakikita natin sa ating paligid ay art. Dahil, ayon nga sa module na ito, art is a product of man's creativity. So, meaning, ito ay produkto ng imahinasyon ng tao. Not everyone can be considered an artist, but all are spectators of art. We are able to distinguish what is fine and beautiful from what is not, and what is good quality and from poor. This gives us a role in the field of art appreciation. Art appreciation as a way of life. The role of art as a creative work is to depict the world in a completely different light and perspective, as per Jean-Paul Sartre. Each artwork beholds beauty in its own kind, the kind that the artist sees and wants the viewers to perceive. So the role of art as a creative work is to depict the world in a completely different light and perspective. So meaning, pag may nakita tayo sa nature natin na, for example, bundok, still it is a mountain in a perspective of nature, but in a perspective of artist, kaya na itong gawing extraordinary by applying his art skills. So pwede niya itong i-draw at lagyan ng mga palamuti para maging creative ito. More often than not, people are blind to this beauty, and only those who have developed a fine sense of appreciation can experience and see the art the way the artist did. So, meaning, hindi daw lahat ay pinanganak ng mga artist. Pero, pag gagamitin natin ang ating imahinasyon, magiging extraordinary ang mga bagay-bagay na sa paligid natin. Magiging creative ito. In cultivating an appreciation of art, one should also exercise and develop his taste for things that are fine and beautiful. This allows individuals to make intelligent choices and decisions in acquiring necessities and luxuries, knowing that what gives better value for time or money while taking into consideration the aesthetic and practical value. Learning to appreciate art, no matter what vocation or profession you have, will lead to a fuller and more meaningful life. So, regardless of your status or background, regardless of kung nasaan ka na field, if magbibigay ka ng more values sa art, magiging makabuluhan ang buhay mo. The role of creativity in making art. Creativity requires thinking outside the box. In art, creativity is what sets apart one artwork from another. So meaning, since ang art ay ang duplication ng kung ano ang nasa reality at gagawin mo lang ito na more creative, magiging kakaiba ito sa kung ano ang nasa realidad. Since ginamit mo na ang iyong creativity. When can we say that something is creative? So, paano natin malalaman kung isang bagay ay creative? First is, when we have not seen anything like it. So, if it is extraordinary or unusual or kakaiba. When it is out of the ordinary. When it is not just a copy or imitation of someone's work. In short, there is originality. Nowadays, being creative can be quite challenging. So, parang mahirap na maging creative or mahirap na maging original. Makikita natin sa mga logo na ito na it's just the same logo, but there are different art styles. Art as a product of imagination. Imagination as a product of art. Ayon kay Albert Einstein. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there will ever will be to know and understand. Imagination is not constrained by the walls of the norm, but goes beyond that. Through imagination, one is able to craft something bold, something new, and something better in the hopes of creating something that will stimulate change. In artist's mind sits a vast gallery of artworks. An artwork does not need to be real thing, but can be something that is imaginary. However, something imaginary does not necessarily mean it cannot be called art. Artists use their imagination that gives birth to reality through creation. The same way that imagination produces art, art also inspires imagination. So from imagination to art, also from art to imagination, it's just a reciprocational process. Art as an expression. What an artist does to an emotion is not to induce it, but express it. Through expression, he is able to explore his own emotions and at the same time, create something beautiful out of them, as per Robin George Collingwood. Expressing emotions is different from describing emotions. This makes people's art not a reflection of what is outside or external to them, but a reflection of their inner selves. So, ngayon pupunta na tayo sa iba't ibang klase ng mga art expressions. So, una yung visual arts. Creations that fall under this category are those what appeals to the sense of sight. So, ang sight natin, a sense of sight, and are mainly visual in nature. Artists produce visual arts driven by their desire to reproduce things that they have seen in the way that they perceive them. There are also other artistic disciplines that also involve a visual aspect, such as performance arts, theater, and applied arts. Some mediums of visual arts include paintings, drawings, letterings, printing, sculpture, digital imaging, and etc. Next is film. Film refers to the art of putting together successions to still images in order to create an illusion of movement. So, it is a picture motion, picture to picture, and if it is played simultaneously, then it could create a film. Filmmaking focuses on its aesthetic, cultural, and social value, and is considered both an art and an industry. Techniques in filmmaking processes. So, ito ang mga techniques kung paano gumawa ng film. So, first is motion picture camera, also known as movie camera, animation techniques, and computer-generated imagery or CGI. Filmmaking stimulates experiences or creates one that is beyond the scope of our imagination as it aims to deliver ideas, feelings, or beauty to its viewers. Next is performance art. Performance art is a live art, and the artist's medium is mainly the human body, which he or she uses to perform, but it also employs other kind of art such as visual art, props, and sound. Elements of performance art. Time, where the performance took place or the setting, the performer's body or the movement of the performers. Relationship between the audience and the performers. The fact that performance art is live makes it intangible, which means it cannot be bought or traded as a commodity. Next is poetry performance. Poetry is an art form where the artist expresses his emotion not by using paint, charcoal, or camera, but expresses them through words. So, this is different from other art expressions because other art expressions uses paints as medium, but this kind of art uses words or more on verbal expressions. These words are carefully selected to exhibit clarity and beauty to stimulate strong emotions and joy, anger, love, sorrow, and among others, or the said emotions. It uses the words emotional, musical, and spatial values and go beyond its literal meaning. To narrate, emphasize, argue, or convince.
These words combined with movements, tone, volume, and intensity of delivery to add the artistic value of the poem.
Next one is architecture. Art is the pursuit and creation of beautiful things, while architecture is the making of beautiful buildings. However, not all buildings are beautiful because some only embody the functionality they need, but the structure, lines, forms, and colors are not beautifully expressed. So meaning, hindi daw lahat ng mga nakikita natin sa paligid natin ng mga structure ay art. Dahil yung iba na lang, yung iba ay itinayo ito dahil may mga function ito at wala mga artistic expression na nakikita, like for example a plain wall, parang very dull, very mundane. Important elements: plan, construction, and design. Buildings should embody these three important elements if they wish to merit the title architecture. So if we're going to make a building, we must have these elements, which are plan, construction, and design. So if we lack even one of these elements, like for example the design, so parang nawawala na ang sense of artistry natin. Next is dance. Dance is a series of movements that follows the rhythm of the music. Accompaniment. Dancing is a creative art form that allows people freely express themselves. It has no rules, so para malaya tayong nakakasayaw dito. So it's just more on body movements that we are going to follow the beat of the metronome or the beat of the music so that we can express ourselves through dancing.
Choreography may seem not to allow this, but in art expression, dancers are not confined to set steps and rules, but are free to create and invent their own movements as long as they deem them graceful and beautiful.
Literary art. Artists who practice literary arts use words to express themselves and communicate emotions to the readers. Simply becoming a writer does not make one a literary artist. Literary art goes beyond the usual professional, academic, journalistic, and other technical forms of writing. So, ano ang kaibahan nito sa yung parang sa ibang art expressions na may kinalaman sa verbal expressions. So, ang literary art ay more of like, for example, books, journals, more informative. It focuses on writing using a unique style, not following a specific formal or norm. It may include both fiction and non-fiction, such as novels, biographies, and poems. Romeo and Juliet, like for example, by William Shakespeare, The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Theater. Theater uses a live performers to present accounts or imagery events before a live audience. Theater art performance usually follows a script, through they should not be confused with literary arts. Like in filmmaking, theater also considers several elements such as acting, gestures, lighting, sound effects, and musical scores, scenery, and props. Like performance art, theater also is a live performance. Here are the genres of theater: drama, musical, tragedy, comedy, and improvisations. Applied arts. Applied arts is incorporating elements of style and design to everyday items, with the aim of increasing their aesthetic value. Artists in this field bring beauty, charm, and comfort into many things that were useful in everyday life. Industrial design, interior design, fashion design, and graphic design. So, ang applied arts, ito yung mga nakikita natin sa ang paligid natin in a modern world or contemporary world, such as the logos, like for example, the Coca-Cola, the logo of iPhone or the Apple logo, Samsung, and other brands na sikat. Ang mga artists dito ay mga applied arts. Ang tinatawag sila ng mga applied artists.
Lastly is music. Music is the purest art form. It is comprised of sound, rhythm, melody, harmony, tonality, texture, and musical form. It allows the performer and the receiver to express emotions and ideals through verse and melody. Isa ang pag-awit sa pinakamahalagang sining sa mundo dahil it allows artists to express his or her emotions freely. The art of performance. Singer, songwriter, play a musical instrument, composer performing in an ensemble band, and solo artists. Methodology of music. These are truth, love, and power. Music and its complexities. So, ito ang mga benefits ng music as art expression. So, music as self-expression, telling of stories, complete honesty with oneself. And these are the limitations. The talent to perform well for others, and close-mindedness to different genres and subject matter within music.